God bring the fire down, and it consumed this altar, essentially saying that, God is awesome. God is the God of Elijah, okay? And what happened after that is they killed all the prophets of Baal. All the Israelites killed the prophets of Baal, right? Kind of a slaughter, just a bad, just yuck, right? And then after that, the evil queen, Jezebel, she just was mad at Elijah for this, and she said, I'm going to kill you, Elijah. I'm mad at you. So talk about a bad day at work, You're serving God, you're going for it, and, all of a sudden, since you've been righteous, now someone wants to kill you, and he's freaking out. And so he's running away from Jezebel, and here's what it reads in 1 Kings 19, verse 3 through 4. It says, Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the desert. Keep on going. Are you going to keep on going? Yeah. Justin's a little sick, but we love him, so he's got a cold. He came to a broom tree, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I've had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Whoa, he is so stressed out that he wants to kill himself. That's bad. All right, next slide. And then he lay down under the tree and fell asleep. All at once an angel touched him and said, Get up and eat. He looked around, and there, by his head, was a cake of bread baked over hot coals. That's good. And a jar of water. He ate and drank, and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. Wow. So here he's in this place where he's stressed out. Someone wants to kill him. He wants to kill himself. He's so stressed out, He's had 3 midterms. How many? You said 4 midterms? 4 midterms and 3 papers. Not worse than that. And not only that, someone wants to kill him, right? And he's at this place. He's stressed out, and he just falls asleep under the tree. And this is what we need to take from this passage. Is number 1, we need to sleep, okay? Wow, this is huge. This is really spiritual. We need to sleep. We need to take time to sleep. And if that means turning off Facebook at 1 a.m. and hitting the pillow, you got to do it, Because really for us, we need to rest and rest our physical bodies, Get sleep. Not only that, we need to drink, we need to eat food, we need to drink water. The angel of the Lord came, he brought food, he brought water. We need to have good nutrition, I'm not very good at that, to be honest. I'm preaching myself right now. No more pizza, get a salad, right? We got to do that. We got to take care of our bodies, right? And when we do that, God will strengthen us to live for him. So, again, so principle number 1 is that when we rest, it brings physical strength to the weary. It brings physical strength to the weary. Principle number 2 is this, is that rest brings joy to your life. Rest brings joy to your life. When we allow ourselves time to rest, our emotions will be in a better check. In Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 through 14, it's talking about the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath? Sunday, the day we set aside for rest. And this is what it says here. It says, If you keep your feet from breaking the Sabbath, and from doing as you please on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight, and the Lord's holy day honorable, and if you honor it by not going your own way, and not doing as you please, or speaking idle words, then you will find your joy in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride on the heights of the land. Good. So this is a promise for us in the Bible, is that when we align ourselves with God in His Word, and when we spend time with rest, He's going to bring joy into our hearts. If you're like me, if you didn't get very much sleep the night before, sometimes you could just be a cranky person. You could just come to class with a pretty bad attitude because you had about 5 hours of sleep and you had a test and all these things. But really, we need to rest so that we can have those emotions balanced. We need to think about people who deal with issues of depression and things like that. What a counselor will do is help them regulate your highs and your lows. And in life, we really need to understand that when we allow time for rest, we can really balance those things out. With those lows can be really low if you had 4 hours of sleep and you didn't spend time resting. And so for us, when we honor God by resting, it brings our emotions into better balance, and it brings that joy to wake up in the morning and just get excited about life. So again, principle number 2 is rest brings joy to your life. Principle number 3 is that rest brings a greater sense of God's presence. Rest brings a greater sense of God's presence. Psalm chapter 46 verse 10 says this, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still and know that I am God. We live in a very busy world. And if you just looked at my schedule today, I could attest to that. Wake up at 8, shower, somehow make it into church planning class at 8:30, and go all day and till 5, run out the door, grab the guys, grab the sound system here. It's just been kind of a nuts day. But the reality is this: is that that's the way our lives can be. We can be so busy. We're constantly listening to music. We're constantly watching TV. We've got homework to do. We're spending time with friends. And life can just get cluttered. And we need to have times where we can be still and know that He's God. We can kind of silence the other voices in our life and allow the Lord to speak to us. When I was in high school, some of the college students from my church would meet on a regular basis to pray. And they would meet early in the morning at about 7 o'clock. I guess it's not that early, but 7 o'clock. It's early, right? 7 o'clock in the morning at church and pray. So I joined them when I was in high school. I'd go there at 7. And, when you first start praying, you've got 100 things to pray about. And you're like, oh, God, I pray for this. And about half hour in, I'm just out of stuff to pray for. And so I just sat down in the pew and just was still, And in that moment, where I just had nothing else to say and I kind of just shut up finally, I could just hear the voice of the Lord speak to my heart. And the reality is this, is that when we spend time with the Lord, we need to be still before Him. He knows our needs. Of course, we need to ask Him, God, help us with their needs. But I'd encourage you and challenge you, the next time you spend some time with the Lord, just be still before the Lord. Just meditate on His Word and know that He's God.